Welcome. I'm Leslie Robinson, creator of the 5-Minute Facilitator. This is the second series of classes and specifically facilitating engagement. Welcome to class 1 on climate setting. Excuse me. We'll just take a moment to set the climate for setting the climate. So our agenda will begin with the goal, how we're going to achieve it, housekeeping, some intros, class agreements, and then we'll get into today's class. So the goal of this particular class is to create facilitation engagement. And in so doing, there may be a shift that happens where we shift from being the sage on the stage to being the guide on the side. The purpose of that is to really help accelerate learning. How do we do this? Well, 5 minutes where I present a nugget of information. There'll be 20-25 minutes of facilitation or just quiet where you get to work on your project yourself. You've brought your workshop forward. And then there'll be a little bit of feedback and rinse and repeat 5 times. Our housekeeping, well, we're online. It's fairly intimate though with a group. So housekeeping, just whatever you can do to make your space quiet, just for the 30 minutes or just for the duration of this learning. There will be recordings, so you get the full slide deck and a repeat of the instruction. And then you are also invited to the Facebook secret group. And of course, always your latte is welcome. Just don't spill it on your computer. So we want to know, what is your name, your location, and the topic of the workshop that you are working on. And once we've got that, then we'll go to agreements. So we're in the 5-minute facilitator, and I am holding to these 5 minutes, so timeliness matters. And the second one up is silence. And so really what I'm just looking for there is courtesy, which I'm quite sure would just be natural for all of you. But when one person is speaking, then just silence and to let them speak. Confidentiality matters a lot. You may share a story from this class, but not the identity or even something that would identify who might have said it. So the learning always matters, but the gossip factor or the piece about who said that doesn't matter, especially when this is being done within organizations or closed communities. And I think the most important one for me is that you bring your internal learner forward. So if you agree to these, then we carry on. If you want to have more discussion, then that's something in your small groups. So a little while ago, I decided I wanted to take yoga, and I'm completely surrounded by yoga studios. I picked out a couple, and one of them was the one that I really wanted to go to. I went to first, thinking, I probably won't even show up at the second one. Well, I got in there, and it was dark. It was cold. It wasn't music or anything. They didn't need to be, but they weren't organized, and I didn't receive really a good greeting, and I think they forgot about me. And so then I went to the second one, and it was the opposite, much to my surprise, because it was down a long stairwell going down under the earth, and I didn't think it was going to be the one that I wanted to go to. But I got down there, and it was colorful. It was like people were laughing, and there was beautiful colors and fabrics and things in there. It's like, wow. And so by the end of today's session, you will be able to describe 5 climate setting techniques. Yeah. How do you set your climate? So on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you consciously set climate for your classes now? Are you like a 1 to 2? 1 is poor and 5 is very high. Are you around a 3? Maybe a 4 or 5? The key is consciously set climate. So the reason that we do this is that we're creating a safe space for people to learn. This is one more of the techniques, the facilitation techniques, that presents a very powerful, invisible impact on learning. So of the 2 yoga studios, the first one, I didn't go back. I pushed delete. I don't even want to get their emails. The second one, I attend regularly. I'm getting healthier. I'm growing. I'm connecting. I'm making friends. And they've hired me. So we do business together and are talking about other joint ventures. And I'm very happy to promote them. So there's a lot of activity and growth that happens. And it started with climate setting. So there are 4 ways that I know to set climate. And one of them is the physical environment. But another one is the mental. What does my head need in order for me to be safe enough to learn? And then there's the emotional. And then, always for me, vibrational as well. So I'm going to go really fast over this next bit. So I encourage you to get a piece of paper, pencil, or your keyboard, and just record the ideas that you like and that you will use for yourself. So you're going to hear a lot, but remember, you're going to get the recording and you're going to get the slides afterwards, so you could always come back to them. Ready, set, go. Physical. What is the furniture layout? What is the condition of the furniture? Is the furniture set out in rows, tables and chairs in rows, or are they fixed like in a traditional classroom where the seat and the tablet are all together? Or is it old furniture, or is it really comfortable furniture? Can you move around? Are there enough tables to display things on? What's the lighting like? Can you turn it up and down? Can you dim it and make it brighter? Is there natural lighting? What's the temperature like? Is it too hot? Too cold? So you don't want to sit there? You want to be moving around? Is it moist or is it dry? And what does it smell like? Funny question, maybe. But some institutions just smell like industrial cleaners, and they aren't welcoming at all. But what if there was the smell of fresh oranges or freshly mowed grass? And what are the sounds? Is there music, or is it peaceful? Are there trees rustling outside? Or, is there heavy duty renovations going on? I mean, one summer, blazing hot, we had to keep the windows closed because we had sheets of drywall going out from up above us. We heard them crashing and jackhammering and crashing down. What are the sounds in your space? Mental. So this is kind of interesting. But I realize as a learner, I always want to know where we're going. So I want to know what the goal is. My head needs to know that. My head also needs to know that the instructor knows what that is and that they're going to look after me. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like I'm going to take charge. May sound funny, but think about it. Think about it for yourself. Is the agenda clear? I need to know when I can get up to go to the washroom. I need to know stuff. All right? So housekeeping, things like times and parking. When are the breaks? What are the expectations? My brain needs to know, is this one, I'm just going to pass this course, this workshop, or do I actually have to submit something and get judged? Because then I got to figure out in my busy life what my timing is for that. So I need just to know what the clear expectations are. If there's a test or papers, presentations required of me, and what are the consequences if I don't? I just need to know as a learner. I also need to know as a learner what the credentials of my professor is or my workshop leader. All right, so in my case, my credentials are that I'm Leslie Robinson. I have a master's degree in adult education. I have been involved with the Instructional Skills Workshop and BC's Provincial Instructor Diploma Program for many, many years, both as a teacher and as initially as a learner, and have really been pioneering my own iteration of adult education with thousands, tens of thousands of amazing trainers. Credentials, you know? So what are yours? Emotions. So the third area for setting the climate is emotional. Is the room actually ready, or did you just arrive and it's a hodgepodge? Is there a friendly welcome? Do you have agreements? Have you made agreements? We've been doing agreements in each of the classes, and we'll look at that more in this series. Is there a framework? I need to know that I can relax, because there's a kind of as a learner, that there's a kind of a vulnerability that happens in order for me to let go of one way of knowing something and accept something new. And a framework gives me some structure that allows that. It's subtle and it's very powerful. And then the fourth area is vibrational. So this is the intention. So is it my intention that you will have the best experience possible as a learner? That we'll have some fun, that there will be laughter, that the learning will be deep, profound, sustainable? Or am I just there for the paycheck so I can pay my bills? What's my intention? Okay, climate setting. Remember, this was our learning objective. By the end of today's session, you will be able to describe 5 climate setting techniques. You've been busily writing, noting the ones that resonate with you. So here's the review. There are techniques in 4 domains. Physical, like the furniture, the temperature, the lighting, what our physical bodies need. Mental, what our head needs. The agenda, the housekeeping, to know if there's a test. Emotional, am I being welcomed? The agreements are a safety net. And vibration, what is the intention? Whoa, we've got a siren going by. What is the intention that is set? So remember that learning objective. By the end of today's session, you will be able to describe 5 climate setting techniques. Okay, so go ahead, write 20 climate setting techniques. That's your test. Just kidding. Write or mark or circle 5 climate setting techniques that you will use. And that concludes our session on climate setting. In your small groups, you may do this, elaborate on the 5 climate setting techniques that you are committing to in your next class, share with your classmates, ask questions. But now I'm just going to move straight to feedback and one word that best describes how you feel about your learning in this moment. So just one word. This is what's coming up. We've just completed climate setting, agreements, learning styles, group dynamics, and we'll end up with feedback. Thanks.